This is the book of Psalms, chapter 147, starting at verse 12. The point is verse 17. It reads, "Praise the Lord Yahweh, Shem Yahushai. O Jerusalem, praise thy power, O Zion. For he hath strengthened the bars of thy gates. He hath blessed thy children within thee." Verse 14. "He maketh peace in thy borders, and filleth thee with the finest of the wheat." Verse 15. "He sendeth forth his commandment upon earth, his word runneth very swiftly." Verse 16. "He giveth snow like wool, he scattereth the hoarfrost like ashes." Verse 17. "He casteth forth his ice like morsels." Who can stand before his cold? I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, all glory to Elohim Yahweh, Shem Yahushai, Shem HaKodesh. Double honors to the elders, to the apostles who told me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim, across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwat out there listening and learning, well, willingly. This is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but who subscribe to this truth. To you, I say Shalom. It's Brother Yahweh, coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit, through the power of Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. This lesson is inspired. Pretty much an article had, well, not an article, a video had popped up in my feed, and pretty much it's fitting to the times we're in, pretty much fitting into judgment, because you've already you got the snowstorm that is affecting down south in areas that normally typically don't get snow. I think brothers was talking about Mississippi, Florida, these strange weather anomalies, and that's one of the indicators that Yahweh by Shem Yahushua would be visiting the earth, because these strange signs, these signs and wonders that's being seen, taking place. I was just thinking, again, it's been years since, I think one of the worst winters was like 1977, 78. Pretty much, I'm just gonna play the video because I don't understand all the terminology, but for pretty much, it's a scenario where it can lead to major judgment, because it's like, I guess 13 states that's all, I don't think they are like kind of on the same power grid, because I think it's like only Texas that they're trying to, like, that's why Texas was talking about seceding whatnot. And then you had the situation with Elon Musk, where he basically helped build, like, Texas is not on the United States power grid along with all the other states, but it's like major states that's all connected to the same power grid. So if certain these states go out, that's why, because the infrastructure is so old in Babylon the Great, and that's another thing. That's another way that this place is going down. Well, they used to talk about it a couple years back. If something was to take place, all Babylon the Great could be affected. That's why, like, I forgot what year it was, but I think it was, I want to say, I worked at the job at, I think, like, between 2002 and 2004. I worked at this restaurant, and I'll never forget, I forgot what year exactly it was, but it was a blackout, and it affected more than just our state. It affected, like, a number of states. It affected the cell phone coverage. It affected the lights. And then, I'm born and raised, well, not born, I was raised in East Cleveland, and I'll never forget, I was working with a couple guys at the same job, and Jake was dropping me off, and when we was pulling back up into East Cleveland, it was like, because you couldn't see, it was so dark, you couldn't see what was really before you. It made me think about what the elder was saying. I mean, I think that's in, like, the Apocrypha, when it's talking about the darkness was so dark, and the thickness of the darkness, I think that's in Zephaniah. It talks about a thick darkness and gloominess, the day of the Lord. It's so dark that you can't even see. Like, if you had a light or, a flame in front of you, you couldn't even see, because it was that dark, And when you take time to really meditate on that, that's terrifying, But you couldn't see like really what was you could see what was in front of you, but you couldn't really see it far off. And when we was pulling up to where he was about to drop you off at, I grew up over there, so like I know all the niggas, but it was like 50 niggas out in the dark. So it make you think about like, damn, how's it gonna be? Looking like some gremlins or some roaches. It makes you think like, well, damn, when these lights go out, when it's that time of Jacob's trouble, or when they do that purge, because all you can do is paint different scenarios, But basically, it's gonna be a very terrifying time. So I'm gonna play this video. I'm gonna say fair use, but because again, we're in the time of judgment. The Lord has been doing shit to Babylon the Great since day one of this new year, and that's what we believe through the Spirit, that this very well could be that year of deliverance, destruction, and judgment on Esau Edom. So without further ado, I'm gonna play the video. Fair use.
Hello friends, we have a big update out there right now. We got the PJM Interconnect, which is basically covering all of Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, bits of New York. We got down in Maryland, Virginia. It's a massive power generation interconnect. So of the East Coast Interconnect, the PJM is a major contributing interconnect. It produces a lot more power than what it needs, and is generally selling that power to other interconnects across the Eastern Seaboard and across the Midwest. This is changing. PJM just announced they have a level 1 emergency. That means that they have a max generation alert. So let me just put it in their words. All available resources are committed to meeting electricity load.
Okay, so do any of y'all know anything about this free laptop program? One friend told me it's real, and another one.
And they are concerned about sustaining contingency reserves. So, given what they're expecting today for power demand across these states as well as across the Eastern Seaboard, they are concerned that they will not be able to have enough contingency reserves if they lose a power plant, if several power plants.
So think about what they're saying. Pretty much, all these states are interconnected because of, I don't know if it's power plants or that, like pretty much all those states have a system in place where they're all utilizing the same amount of power. But they're saying that it's a threat to the power. Now just imagine if the power was to go out at a time like this. Again, I think in Cleveland right now it's like it's like 10 degrees. I've been planning on trying to go out, and I ain't trying to prove shit to nobody. You know what I mean? So like, make you a man because you get frostbite. Like, get the fuck out of here. Again, I mean, I plan on doing a lesson, but I'm not about to go out here and do it. Scripture's talk about using wisdom. At the end of the day, I know it's required of us to go out, but again, I was listening to one brother, the one elder, Salaki, the one elder speaking on how you have Jake pretty much not saying nothing, trying to suffer. Like Jake, I don't know, like at the end of the day, I'm gonna try to stay in my lane from now on, because there's a lot of shit I could really say. But my point being, if the Lord was to like shut one of them down, or if the Lord had the elites purposely do something, that's the Spirit. Because as soon as I said the elites, the fucking light turned green. At the end of the day, he could. Because at the end of the day, we in the time of judgment. The year started off with judgment. Then we coming into Passover. Passover season. I need to reach out to the elders because I don't know how that worked. Being that I've always participated with the camp in Passover, and like I said, and just speaking, quick testimony, I never thought about it because I was like, damn, what's so different this year and why all these different spiritual things happen? But I pretty much the Passover ritual we did differently this year. Like normally I'm the eldest brother that speaks, so you always partook and did that part. But then this year, last year, it pretty much. Because we had a brother from out of town, and I asked the question like, "Well, how do that work? Do he do it now?" Because I thought he was older physically, so it's supposed to be the oldest brother in camp. And some kind of way, I was assuming I wasn't gonna be saying nothing, but in some kind of way, I took a role as one of the priests. You know what I mean? Did a whole bunch of, all this took place. And Jake might look at it like that's insignificant. You don't really, if you think that's insignificant, that show you don't realize what you're part of for real. So yeah, I mean, and again, I got children, but at the same time, again, I trust in the Lord. That's why, again, I was more terrified of harboring ill will or, trying to be being a hypocrite, because the Lord gonna fuck some, the Lord already in the time exposing so much different stuff, Again, I trust, and like I said, again, that brother did a powerful video. It was a lot of comfort in scriptures, because at the end of the day, you got to be secure in the knowledge that you did and you strove for the truth unto death. This is too late in the game to be up there trying to get lackadaisical, or you thinking that you got it. Jake still, don't get me wrong, Jake used to go out and do little certain shit, but if you still at that same mindset with all this shit going on, they talk about at any moment a terrorist attack could happen, like, you show you well, the thing is, I only got to work, it's an army of one. I'm spiritually part of the brothers. I heard the elders make mention of it several times, as far as, because you got men that's not in camps, I wasn't, I thought about that because, when I was leaving the camp, that's when the elders put out the decree for all the men that, basically believed in the GMS doctrine to basically report and come in. And I was like, damn, this is weird, because I'm leaving the camp while the elders called for me to come in the camp. And that just showed you that the Lord wasn't with that. Because, Jake was upset about it. I heard Jake doing all kind of videos, cussing Jake out. I just heard the elder from Cali sit up there talking about, when we told you to come in and all this other stuff, Again, this truth ain't no joke, what I'm saying? With that being said, I pray the Lord don't take the spirit away from me, And the brother from Cali made a statement. He said, how does that work? Say for instance, he say, you pretty much lose the spirit. He said he would want to just be dead, And I agree with him. I completely relate to what he said. Bear with me for a second.
Have enough power or demand across these states as well as across the eastern seaboard. They are concerned that they will not be able to have enough contingency reserves. If they lose a power plant, if several power plants go offline, they need to have enough power to kind of cover that gap. Right now, they're saying that if major power plants go offline, they're going to have to strip sales to other interconnects across the eastern seaboard. This is big. We talked previously about Texas. We need to talk about the eastern seaboard area and the PJM interconnect. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade. And we're covering the things that the mainstream media just isn't covering, whether they just don't think it's important, that millions of Americans could lose their power in the dead.
Now, do you think that well, let me rewind that.
I'm an accountant by trade, and we're covering the things that the mainstream media just isn't covering, whether they just don't think it's important, that millions of Americans could lose their power in the dead of a winter storm like this one. Extremely dangerous, but yeah, they can't be bothered by that. They just have to be attacking Trump or something like that.
And these motherfuckers really idolize DJ Trump, don't they? But they deified this man. They built a fucking idol, a statue to that man. Look at, I think he dressed like a Roman Caesar too. I know I seen the image, but I didn't really go into in detail. I didn't really research it. But so it make a lot of sense with that apotheosis, that mural, the apotheosis of George Washington, and then basically Trump, and him not touching the Bible, Because ultimately, like, that man's a warlock, when you go into the whole, the inauguration and the augur and all, these different things, This man, Richard from Boston, played the video where he said he's not a Christian, but he just sold all them motherfucking Christian Bibles, didn't he? So, the average American is gonna get duped because, like, say again, a lot of people putting their trust in this fucking devil. You know, I was listening to something that Richie from Boston put in there. You know, and I had to think about it because I was like, well, damn, you know, he's supposed to make $500 billion off of that Trump meme card, and then they thinking that that's gonna be the currency or they gonna make money off of it, but it's gonna be whatever currency that the elites want him to use. You know, at first I thought it was gonna be Doge, because, you know, Elon Musk with the Doge, which he probably, you know, making more money off of the whole Doge coin situation, because you created the Department of Government Efficiency. That's an acronym for Doge, or the acronym for that is Doge. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm gonna play a little bit more of this, and then I'm gonna, because I got 2 more scriptures.
I don't know. All right.
But if the Lord do this, that'll be major judgment. You know what I mean? Because, like I said again, you don't know what kind of, like, the Lord is in the spirit of judging. You know what I mean? So, you know, he could put, you know, scriptures talk about the Lord, the king's heart is in the hands of the Lord. So, you know, again, the Lord can, you know, have those elites do anything. And it'd be perfect time. You know, they're trying to depopulate.
Very Inconvenient Truth. If you ever read an Inconvenient Truth, this is an Inconvenient Truth to that Inconvenient Truth book.
I'm going to take you to...
We are now experiencing the coldest January since 1977. This is across large swaths of the United States. Coldest January since 1977. Not only that, the heating demand is through the roof, which kind of follows, right? So therefore, people are going to want heat. We are having record low temperatures in Texas, all the way across Louisiana. Parts of Florida are experiencing extreme cold. If you're in any of these areas, what I'm saying is not news to you. The news is, how is the power grid handling it? So far, the Texas grid is covering their shortfall with a massive amount of natural gas. So they are burning natural gas like it's going out of style. And as long as that natural gas keeps flowing to those power plants, they'll be able to hold the line, at least for a while. Now, if those wells start freezing over, they're going to have a serious problem. So, back to the PJM interconnect. The PJM interconnect also is heavily reliant on natural gas to cover shortfalls. This is also a problem, because if you have wells freezing over, freezing out in Texas, you can imagine how the ones in the mountains of Pennsylvania, in the mountains of West Virginia, will fare actually even worse. And that's what we're going to be experiencing. The colder it is for the longer, the more problems we're going to have with natural gas. That plus the water coolant from rivers and such oftentimes are not insulated. So that could put nuclear power plants in danger, as well as coal-fired power plants, and even natural gas power plants. So, this cold, it's pretty brutal right now, and that is impacting the power grid. Just at the same time that the power grid is needed more than ever before. Now, every little bit of solar that we've stuck into the ground, every windmill that we've used to replace coal-fired power plants, is more instability that we have in the grid right now, because we're having problems with those windmills. Those solar panels, many of them being covered in snow, whether they're being dusted off manually, this is a problem. So, all available resources are committed to maintaining electricity load or contingency reserves. And this is their alert that sales may need to be curtailed to other interconnects nearby. So
the skill that took me from being a broke college graduate making $45,000.
Salaki, so with that being said, again, if the Lord was to, you know, put the spirit out there where he just had that power grid, you know, basically get shut off, And because you got to understand the heating system is pretty much powered by the electricity and, like you said, the natural gas. Another reason why they want everything, like they want you to get the smart stoves and everything smart so they can control. That's another tool they're using to try to control. Another system of control, basically. So I thought about a couple of scriptures. It's the book of Job, chapter 37. That'd be a hell of a judgment. No, matter of fact, I'm gonna get into it. Let me get this. This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter. Second Ezra. This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 8, beginning at verse 50, and it reads, "For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride." It's that Matthew chapter 24, Daniel chapter 12. But understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee, which is like-minded brothers in the hopeful elect. Verse 52, "For unto you is paradise open, and the tree of life is planted. The time to come is prepared. Plenteousness is made ready. A city is builded, and rest is allowed. Yea, perfect goodness and wisdom." Skipping to verse 56, "For when they have taken liberty, they despise the Most High, thought scorn of his law, and forsook his ways." Verse 57, "Moreover, they have trodden down his righteousness." Verse 57, "Moreover, they have trodden down his righteous, and said in their heart that there is no God, yea, and that knowing they must die." Make you think about Psalm chapter 14, because I was just reading about that. The fool saith in his heart, there is no God. That go for Esau, Edom, the wicked, but it also go to 2/3 of the nation of Israel. They don't consider. I was talking to an individual, a female, earlier today. I just, happened to come across, and out of a lot of women I, have met recently, pretty much she was, because she was like, she could see what's going on in the world, and a lot of people can't. And I was explaining to her, I gave her the scripture in the book of Isaiah about the eyes that they cannot see and ears that they cannot hear. And, I was just explaining to her that it's a reason why she can see and she can hear. She didn't buck up to any scripture that I gave her. So, that was the spirit. Because I told her, that's a blessing that you can see. You can see what's going on. Back in 2 Ezra chapter 8 and verse 59. "For as the things aforesaid shall receive you, so thirst and pain are prepared for them. For it was not his will that men..."
I don't know if they open or not.
Salakia, verse 59 again. "For as the things aforesaid shall receive you, so thirst and pain are prepared for them. For it was not his will that men should come to naught." Verse 60, "But they which be created have defiled the name of him that made them, and were unthankful unto him which prepared life for them." Verse 61, "And therefore is my judgment now at hand." And I just was beginning of the lesson talking about how we in a time of judgment. So, you got a lot of shit going on. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the Lord can be merciful, but a lot of judgment going out, and you're about to see even more judgment before this year is over with. Look at the spirit DJ Trump in. They talking about, I was going to do a video on that. They talking about these people pretty much, ICE can show up at churches, schools, and whatnot. These people going to be running. The elders said they might be breaking into people's houses because they about to run. This shit about to be kind of like, this ain't about to be a walk in the park like that. And like the one elder made mention of, you don't understand how much can happen with this. Because, I mean, again, they can go door to door. You got certain sanctuary cities where they pretty much allowed the, which that seemed like that was all in conjunction and cahoots, You got certain cities that, allowed them to be, a sanctuary, like how New York was a sanctuary city. Now, probably no longer going to be like that because, that Eric Adams guy, pretty much they got his ass and he hoping to get the pardon by Trump, so he going to do whatever the fuck they tell him to do. He going to, at the end of the day, it's a lot of like, I forgot who broke it down. I believe it's the elder from the UK. He was going into, like a lot of these people are actors. Why do you think Obama and Trump, like literally have, the actors and entertainers all on the same? I don't remember Trump having rappers pretty much performing for his inauguration the last time. When have you ever heard of presidents having? That's how you know this shit is just like a big ass huge joke. So, I mean, I hope the Lord brings some judgment. And Ohio is one of the states that's going to get affected. But I'm so tired of shit. My head hurting and shit. You know what I mean? So, if the Lord with you, He's going to be with you and you're going to, be sustained. And if He's not, you're going to be judged. And that's just the bottom line with it. I still keep on thinking about the dream that the brother had. And I'm not trying to, what I'm saying is, if you don't get rescued, because he was like, well, pretty much, he asked the Lord, well, I thought you said, but, at the same time, if the Lord don't rescue you, like the brother had the video about, you had a lot of men pretty much trying to make a case, oh yeah, well, Lord, didn't I do this, and showing scriptures, you know what I mean? You wasn't worthy. I'm already looked at like I'm not worthy. I'm still doing the truth, but I ain't worthy now, huh? Only the Lord know if I'm worthy or not. Because again, like I said, this shit is not easy, especially when, like I said, when these, you know what I mean? Looking at things from the aspects of men. A man sit up there one way in the camp and then I hear or see some shit that's totally contrary to the, oh, I ain't supposed to say nothing like that though, huh? So then I got to keep on hearing people saying little shit though, but again, you weren't there to witness, you don't know what the fuck going on for real. And at the end of the day, if I get judged, why the fuck you care? Now I can't corrupt nothing, remember? I'm still amazed at what is he really like. I mean, if I'm so bugged the fuck out, why are you following my videos? Again, I love the truth, and that's why I made the statement, the last time. As far as if I'm not even of the elect, I pray for the elect, But Jacob, they're like, I'm just a fucking demon, you know what I mean? Yet still, though, when they wanted something, though, they got their fucking hand out. Brother just brought that up. You got Jake that don't never contribute nothing, or already got their fucking hand out, but got the most to fucking say. So I hope the Lord do bring fucking judgment. It's the book of Job, chapter 37. Start at verse. This is long. I forgot. Job 37, I'm going to start at verse 1. I'm going to read it in NLT. My heart pounds as I think of this. It trembles within me. Listen carefully to the thunder of the Most High's voice as it rolls from his mouth. It rolls across the heavens and its lightning flashes in every direction. Verse 4. Then comes the roaring of the thunder, the tremendous voice of his majesty. He does not restrain it when he speaks. The Most High's voice is glorious in the thunder. We can't even imagine the greatness of his power. He directs the snow to fall on the earth and tells the rain to pour down. Then everyone stops working so they can watch his power. He said everyone stops working. The wild animals take cover and stay inside their dens. And we watching that right now. It's so cold out here. That's why I'm helping this goofy ass bitch, because she up there, and I'm looking at like this is so unattractive, because bitch, you sitting up there, the independent woman, but now you can't go do nothing. Bitch, you should have walked. What you need me to come take you down 4 or 5 fucking streets? Bitch, you couldn't get, oh, they got an excuse. Anybody trying to hear no fucking excuses? I just heard a brother sit up there and say, you got men in the fucking truth folk call, they say men, and still got fucking excuses. But then you gonna sit up there and talk about my character? And I ain't trying to point at you and you point at me. That's why the fuck I didn't say nothing. When I found out somebody was lying, that's when I said something. That's why I'm so glad that Jake, it ain't up to what Jake fucking think. It's up to what the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua think. Verse 9, the stormy wind comes from its chamber, and the driving wind brings the cold. Verse 10, the Most High's breath sends the ice, freezing wide expanses of water. I'm going to reread that in the KJV. By the breath of the Most High, frost is given, and the breath of the waters is straightened. May the Lord continue to keep bringing frost. Freeze this bitch over. Yeah, I keep on talking about the story of the Game of Thrones, a saga, fire and ice. Yeah, you got this shit burned it up. I just heard the brother from California speaking on that. He's like, yeah, the fire still rises. God, you know, it's fire on the fucking West Coast and it's freezing everywhere the fuck else. Call lawyer like y'all, but I'm saying, continue to send judgment. May this be that year of deliverance, destruction, and judgment on Esau, Edom. Deliverance of Israel and just judgment and destruction on Esau, Edom. I believe that's the title that the elder quoted. So with that, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Allah, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Godash. Double honors to the elders and to the apostles that taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, preaching this truth with faith and sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akim for listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations who will subscribe to this truth to you. So shalom. Until next time I'm able to come with another lesson. Shalom, shalom. Islam Yasharallah. Wath Lababah.